In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a calculator to approximate a square root. So this one, the calculator I have, you see a split screen. The calculator I have on the left, this is not an TI graphing calculator. It's an app I downloaded from the App Store. It's something similar to a TI-84. The screenshot I gave you, this one is straight from a TI-84 plus CE. So TI-84 plus CE. So the way you find a square root is, do you see that there is a x square key? The x square key is right next to a comma. So do you see where the 7 is? Just look at my calculator on the left, or your own graphing calculator. Find the 7, and then take a step above that. You see a comma, right? And then on the left hand side, there is a x square. The x square, above the x square, do you see that there is a square root? Sometimes it is in yellow, sometimes it is in blue. So for TI-84, it is blue. I believe for TI-83, it is in yellow. So since that is a blue, in order to get to the blue square root, you have to press a blue key, which is the second, and then you press the x square. So that gives you the square root, right? And then you see that there is a square root on your screen, and then there is an open parenthesis, right? So, and then you type whatever you want, and then after you are done, you close the parenthesis. You type a close parenthesis, which is, the close parenthesis is right above the 9. The open parenthesis is right above the 8, right? So if you look at my picture, there is a red arrow pointing at the close parenthesis. All right, so how do we do this? So let's say for the first one, I want to find the square root of 16, right? Square root of 16, I know that is equals to 4. How do you do this in your calculator? You go to second, you press second, and then you press the x square. You see a square root, right? If you are using a scientific calculator, that might show a SQRT, and then open parenthesis. SQRT means square root, and then you type 16. So in my calculator, I do not need to close the parenthesis, but in your TI-84 or 83, you have to type the close parentheses, and then hit enter. You get a 4. How about the square root of negative 16? The square root of negative is undefined, right? The calculator will show you an error. So do that again. Second, type the x square. Second, type the x square. Negative 16. How do you find the negative? The negative, look at my picture. The negative is on the left hand side of enter. It is a dash wrapped by a parenthesis. That is a negative. The one above the plus, that is a minus. If you use the wrong negative, the calculator will show you a syntax error. Syntax error means syntax. Syntax error means you use a wrong symbol. The calculator cannot read the symbol. So when the value is negative, you type the negative. Don't type the minus, right? So the square root of negative 16, press enter. You know that it's an error, right? So do you see the error? Non-real answer. So this is undefined because the square root of negative is undefined. And then the square root of 190, so second square, 190, okay, 190, enter. So keep one the significant digit. Actually, I don't want to use the word significant digit. I want to use the word decimal, one decimal place. So this one allow me to fix this really quick. So instead of significant digit, I would just use one decimal place. The square root of 190, the square root of 190 is approximately equals to 13 point, you add 1 to the 7, right? So 13.8. And then you try the square root of second square root 200. So that is around 14.1. The square root of 200, that is around 14.1. And then the square root of 49.38. Second x square 49.38. So that is around 7.0. 7.0. The square root of 108. 108. 13.4. The square root of 108 108. Okay, don't need this decimal. Is around 10.4, and then the square root of 71. Square root of 71, so that is around 8.4. Is around 8.4, and then the square root of 108.08, square root of 108.28, so that is around 10.4. Okay, and then moving on, so two significant digits. Allow me to change that really quick. I want to just say two decimal places. Don't worry about significant digit. Two decimal places means I want to keep two numbers on the right hand side of the decimal. Square root of 430. So square root of 430, that is approximately equals to 20.74. The square root of 7.89, that is around 7.89, that is around 2.81. And then the square root of 6.77, that is around 2.60. 2.60, and then the square root of 28.2009, the square root of 28.2009, 5.31 is around 5.31. Erase that. 5.31. 5.31. All right, so that's the second example. And then the next one, again, allow me to change that to three decimal places. So this one, pause that. I want three decimal places. Three decimal places. The square root of 3/4 means the square root of 3 divided by 4. So this is how you type that. Second, and then type that. Just type 3 divided by 4 and then close parenthesis. You don't have to evaluate 3 divided by 4 separately. So that is around 0.866. And then the square root of 258 divided by 678. Second x squared 258 divided by 678. So that is around 0.617. And the square root of 3.14. Square root of 3.14, that is around 1.772. And then the square root of 43 divided by 0. 43 divided by 0 itself is undefined because 0 can never be a divisor. So let's take a look really quick. So 43 divided by 0 is nothing. So that means the square root is undefined. All right, moving on to the last one. So move this up. And then I would like to correct this 4 decimal places. So 4 decimal places. Okay, let's do the last one. Use a different color. -1/2, just the square root of -1/2. The square root of negative is undefined. Do this in your calculator, you will get an error. So the square root of -1 divided by 2, nothing. Error, right? And then the square root of 583.0028. The square root of 583.0028. So that is around 24.145. And then add 1 to the 4, then that will be a 5. The square root of 89.0306. Square root of 89.0306. You have around 9.4356. And then the square root of 101 should be close to 10. 101, that should be close to 10 because 10, the square root of 100 is 10. So that would be a 10.049, and then add 1 to the 8, the last digit is a 9. So that would be the end of this video. If you think my video is helpful, please subscribe, like, share that out for me. I appreciate your help really, really much. I see you all in the next lesson.